Well, hey everyone, thank you for joining us today for today's webinar. We're really excited here at vCIOToolbox as we are venturing into our 2024. Many of you heard this year is our year of integration and automation. We've had a nice trajectory where we kicked things off with the QBR, added the GRC in 2023, and this year we're really looking at ways to bring the information you want to share in business reviews, and the information you need is evidence in your compliance and security program efforts, and automate that coming into our system. And we're really excited to kind of kick off the security awareness and training category with the folks over at Phin, who have been a wonderful partner so far. So love to kick it off by introducing Shane Scarzelli. And Shane, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely, Brian. And thank you very much for having me. It's wonderful having these types of relationships, and really excited about what we were able to do from the initial time we talked at one of the conferences to kind of working through and putting Phin into vCIO, and excited for exactly kind of what we're presented today. So, hey everybody, my name is Shane Scarzelli. I'm the sales manager at Phin Security. Pretty much run everything on that side of the house. So happy to run through all the functionality. You see a couple of those little logos down there. Love live music, scuba diving, traveling, a little bit of football, or really sports in general. Loving the Olympics right now. It's been great to watch. But yeah, it was it fits the theme when it comes to the scuba diving. So we were actually at the aquarium for that ChannelCon conference. I was trying to figure out a way that they would let me in that tank, but no such luck so far. So
yeah, it was classic. If you guys have been following Phin at all, they put up some of the most fun social that you're ever going to see out there. And as soon as I saw Shane later that night, I said, I already know there's probably a week's worth of material you guys got from the aquarium. It didn't help, or it didn't hurt that there was a ton of stingrays flying around there as well as anyhow. But yeah, really, we're really excited about this integration. For a variety of reasons. The human firewall is probably one of the biggest conversations we talk about now these days, and really how the user is probably the biggest threat to security. And certainly that's what you guys are addressing over at Phin. Maybe tell us a little bit about who you guys are and what you're all about.
Yeah, absolutely. So Phin's about 2.5 years old, but really what we have focused on is the MSP and their experience, not only on their side, but also on the end user side. Kind of everything that we've seen when it comes to security awareness training and phishing really is either focused on the enterprise level, or it's focused on just the content side, but doesn't really focus on the experience as well as those things. Of course, all of that's extremely important. And that's exactly really why we are MSP-focused security awareness training. The whole idea is we want to make it real easy as far as getting everything up and running. Once everything is up and running, it takes about 10 minutes, which we'll actually go through today. Once that is running, everything is going to run in perpetuity, so you don't have to worry about trying to keep up with those campaigns. While we do that, we want to make sure it's all brandable and really fit to your fit to your company, and I'll show you how we do all of those things as we go through here in a bit, and really providing a great end user experience in that when it comes to making sure that the training is top shelf, that it's always going to be something new, going through a little bit of a unique experience when it comes to that. And making sure that we're actually creating a great cybersecurity platform. Right now, not only that, we want to make sure we're getting all that great stuff out, but we also want to make sure we're getting all that great stuff back. And vCIOToolbox is a fantastic way of tying that in to make sure that you're relaying a lot of that information for easy digestible reports or dashboards or everything that you have really in vCIOToolbox. So that's a little bit about Phin.
Yeah, and I don't want to gloss over the multiple training styles and providers piece of it, because that's something that you guys are doing relatively uniquely within the industry. You get feedback from some of those that are using the big giants. I won't name them here, but the thing I hear most often is training is getting stale. Users aren't really clicking into it because they feel like they've seen it before. And one of the things that I've noticed, in our short time working together, you guys are constantly bringing new content from different vendors about the same subject. So when you have to come around full circle and start that training all over again, I'm not watching the same video I saw maybe 3 or 6 months ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a huge aspect of it, right? Content is extremely important, but we have actually a director of content specifically to bring new content in from the providers that we do have, make sure we vet that out. Any of the old stuff, take out. And actually, we just added 2 new providers of content in the beginning half of this year, specifically to always continue to add to that. So I think we have actually almost 10 years of content if you're doing it monthly on that side of it. And then on the flip side of it, as far as on the templates, we're always adding new stuff. Something pops up and we see the email, we go, great, that's going to be a nice one to add in. So we try to make sure that it's always top shelf and also digestible and enjoyable, right? We can make training almost fun. It is a big win. And if we keep it consistent, I think that's the other thing too, right? Nobody needs to do an hour-long training in order to understand one thing about passwords. We can make sure that we deliver that in a unique and a digestible format is our whole goal. So we make sure we keep it consistent about that 5-minute training length.
Yeah, and when I put back on my compliance app for a minute now, that's really one of the challenges that we hear most often as people are, undertaking their audit prep. Hey, year one, everybody jumped into the security awareness pool. They did it. They, watched their videos. Year two, we're seeing less and less completion of the trainings, and that keeping that content fresh really keeps those people engaged and really helps with the overall compliance need too, because at the end of the day, now you're going back chasing those people, trying to get everybody to finish their trainings and trying to get them done during your examination period. And that can never be fun. So kudos to you guys, man. That's one of the things that I've seen that's really cool so far. Now we got a little bit more about Phin. Some of this might overlap a little bit, but I think there's a couple cool ones here that you might want to jump into as well, Shane.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, 10-minute onboarding, we really focused as Phin on 3 main portions. Onboarding, we have 5 steps, which we'll go through in about 10 minutes that shows you what it takes to get a new client onboarded. After they are set up, again, everything is going to run in perpetuity. The other aspect of that is great as far as getting all that information back, but also, or getting all that information out, but again, wanting to get it back. So it's great to put it into vCIOToolbox, but also it's always useful to have any additional pieces that you might need there, whether it's further into detail as far as analytics or just CSV reporting, where it really dives into some specifics there. And we can do all of that piece, all of those things together as well. Excuse me. The other side of it is a lot of other people kind of go about the process of, if you do something wrong, we're going to say, hey, they're going to say, hey, you did it wrong, slap on the wrist and assign you something else that doesn't really relate to what you're doing. We want to really, again, create a sense of cybersecurity culture within the businesses that we're servicing. And ultimately, the whole idea of that is really instill a beneficial learning experience rather than a punitive one. And I know we talked about the diverse content for a diverse end user base. We want to make sure that every company that you are supporting is going to really get the pieces of the puzzle the way that we know that they need them. And really, this is one of my favorite parts that is completely outside of the entire Phin platform, which I'll speak to, but you won't actually get to meet Mary, Andrew, and Adam today. Brian's been lucky enough to meet all of them. They're all absolutely phenomenal. I always say, if you like the sales team, you are going to absolutely love partner experience. They go above and beyond. And that's the other thing too. We're not just here to hear your support questions. We want to help you go out and sell. We want to help you provide those resources to anybody that you might need them to. I've hopped on sales calls with that stuff as well, and we're always wanting that feedback too. We know that it's an ever-changing landscape, and if we don't continue to listen to the people that we are most involved and most important to us, we'll go in the wrong direction. So we make sure we do an MSP advisory council to always get the right direction of where we should be going with the platform, as well as hundreds of partners that we service that we're always asking for that feedback from, and also asking how we can help them be better on that side. So a lot of great stuff in the platform, but a lot of great stuff in the company and Phin as well.
So I'll put it in perspective. When you talk about that, guys that you want to have a great beer with, these guys have become like legends on the show circuit. I was trying to get over to see Shane to kind of prepare a little bit for today, and I couldn't get to the booth, man. People come in, but they don't just come in to chat with them. They come in to really go in depth with them in the booth. I in some respects, almost feel for you, Shane, because, these conversations can go 10, 15 minutes, but it proves that people just like to be around you because you guys are doing right by them. And I wanted to share that tidbit with those that may have not been around you at a show yet.
Well, we appreciate that.
So, security awareness and phishing simulations, I think everybody's got a pretty good sense of what that's all about, but, maybe you can go a little deeper into kind of, what kind of trainings go out there and what kind of simulations you're providing.
Yeah, absolutely. So the whole idea is that we want to, first on the training side, we want to be able to provide something that, again, is going to be doable in a work capacity, right? Everybody has extremely busy days. We want to make sure that they are actually getting that information and able to not overwhelm them with anything, right? So because we rotate the content, we're always making sure that we're getting things to them accurately. And everything follows about the same format. Now it's a bunch of different learning styles, so everybody has something a little bit different. And again, we're always cycling that through to make sure it's top shelf. On the flip side of that, the templates that we use on the phishing side are extremely relevant to what people are interacting with on a daily basis, and always adding those in. Nice part is you could actually add your own in as well. So if there's something outside of the loop that we don't have, bring it in there, bring it into the campaigns, and we're happy to bring that into the solution as well. Just hopping over to this slide here, as far as kind of the comparison of really where Phin makes sense. Brian actually asked me, he was like, hey, if you have some stats and things along those lines, feel free to throw that on the last slide. And in my mind, I could throw a bunch of numbers at you. 83% of the people that cause breaches or abnormalities or whatever it may be, right? Whatever that may be, those numbers are extremely important. But really, the way I like to think about it is the easiest entry point for any person or any business is going to be your users. And I always compare it to basically securing a house. So we can basically make this house, all the things that you as an MSP do, super strong, all the windows are locked up tight, everything like that. But we don't let you know how to lock the front door. It's completely useless. And although security awareness training may be basic to a lot of people in the industry and in the channel and in IT, the people that we are servicing may not have that understanding. So we need to make it simple, effective, and almost fun in that side of it. And really deliver that through the way that we interact with our end users, and creating, again, that great sense of cybersecurity culture.
Yeah, man. And those threats are real, right? Because I think we can all say it, even those of us who have been around security for a long time, some of those emails are very tough to distinguish from. And those simulations are real because, I'm always amazed, and I still think it's because our phones listen to us, right? I'll be that conspiracy theorist for a moment, right? But, I'll just do a Venmo transaction and I'll be talking to somebody, and all of a sudden I'll get that Venmo phishing email. And for half a second, you can almost get lulled into it if you're not staying on top of it, right? And I think that's what we need to teach our end users, because it's amazing how these tools that some of the social engineering that's happening at the phone level too, that's really helping bypass. It doesn't matter how many dollars of security you throw in front of it. If you're not educating your people, you're leaving that big door open. So as you put out here, and yeah. I've been suckered almost more than one time.
And it happens all the time. Yeah, and it happens all the time too, right? It's also, everybody thinks of the risks of, hey, it's the African prince asking for whatever it may be, right? Or, hey, it's somebody that needs to get bailed out and they need help right immediately. But that's not the case anymore. It's much more advanced. It's much more pivotal on what you're actually interacting with, whether it's through social media or really anything along those lines. They can get much more targeted and much more advanced. So making sure that we always like to say we're putting you in a scrimmage to make sure that you understand what the actual landscape is. So that way, when it's game time, you know what to look for and what to make sure you're checking out on it.
Yeah. Good stuff. And just to kind of share a little bit about where this intersects with vCIOToolbox, part of the reason we say that you should integrate vCIOToolbox is really to bring in that information that you need to share during your TBRs and the things that you need in compliance. So I go back to what Shane said. While there's a lot of information that we're pulling in to share out, there's much, much more inside the Phin platform. So, while we're grabbing what we need to help you and enable you to have those business-focused conversations that you're having every day, certainly go in there and make sure that you've got a complete understanding of what's going on in your customer's training program, as we're really kind of cherry-picking what we think you need in order to conduct your business reviews. So, when we're looking at doing this, what we're really trying to do is automate some of this process for you, so you don't have to go between the systems to get the core data you need for your meetings, and then to be able to integrate it into our meeting view, of course, as well. So we're bringing in the phishing and training compliance data, so you can see monthly and a trend long-term on how your programs are performing. This is allowing us to capture the evidence training right within our system and generate reporting there as well. And as I just mentioned, the monthly tracking is a key component of this as well. Now, unfortunately, I won't be showing you guys monthly tracking yet because our integration hasn't been together that long. But you will see that on the first of each month, it will capture the data and then bring that integration data into the system. And this is just an example of the couple dashboards that we have that I'll be showing you a little bit later in the call as well. But with that, Shane, I'm going to turn this now over to you so you can share your screen. Let me know if you have any issues there.
Sounds great. That should be up now.
Sure is. And let's give folks a taste of what Phin can do for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So going through the entire platform, again, we really focus on those three key elements as far as it with the functionality within the platform. And when we're talking about that, onboarding, automation once we are onboarded, and end user experience. So I'll highlight all of those things as we're going through here today. There's going to be three main components of Phin. It's the partner homepage where our partners as MSPs will sign in, where they will have everything listed basically as far as their tenant or their system. Then we'll be able to go into a client management, which is where we'll actually onboard a client and show you exactly what that process looks like. Again, with me talking through it, it takes maybe 15 minutes. So when you're really flying through it, 7 to 10 minutes, real simple setup. And then once we have that all set up, let's show you what the end user are going to experience and why we differentiate ourselves in the way that we do and how that is effective across the board. So all that being said, if there's any questions, I know we have a Q&A in there. Feel free to fire away, and happy to answer anything as we're going through here. So front page, partner homepage. As an MSP, you would sign in here. The one beautiful aspect of, or one of the beautiful aspects of Phin is that we're multi-tenanted. So every company that you're supporting is going to be listed out, going to have a little bit of breakdown and a little bit of a summary of exactly what's happening if there's any big changes that have gone on within the business. You'll also have administrators that you could set up for the entirety of the business. We do have co-managing as well. So we can do that when we get into the client management piece, which I'll touch on. But again, these are all those top level settings that you're really putting together. We also are very brandable. So I don't have an MSP, but I have created a fake one called Harper IT. Harper's just my dog. So she's probably bouncing around outside right now, and basically just had to upload a picture of her, and that pulls through on the rest of the platform. So easily white labeled. Again, top level settings. This will pull through per client, and we can edit at that level as well. Same thing with the welcome emails. We provide you a template for this welcome email. The welcome email is to set expectations for the end users. So basically the first step of the process of going, this is what we're doing, why we're doing it, what to expect moving forward. And you can edit it here. And then you could also edit it per tenant. So again, once you get down to that level, that's exactly where you can put that all together from there. Now, aside from that, this is also where we have our integrations. So you can see here, vCIOToolbox right here under our third-party integrations brings you right into the documentation on how to set that up. We've made it as simple as we can for you. And once it's set up, it'll run real nice and easy. So definitely check this out. And I know it's on your side. I think it's on our side as well. And if anybody wants that, you have my contact info, so we could always get that over to you. But also great as far as the APIs, which was obviously the reason that we were able to work with vCIOToolbox so well. We're able to put that together, so we have some flexibility on that also. All right, fantastic. So that's the partner homepage. Nothing too crazy, nothing too over the top. We want to make sure that's, again, you're going to hear me say this a couple times as we go through, but simple and effective. Simple on your side, effective on the end user side, and everybody gets the platform that they need. Awesome. A great aspect of working with Phin is that we give you the entirety of the platform to really run everything that you need to without us having to intervene. Now, a lot of other companies, you'll have to either, hey, I wanted more licenses, I need to spin up a new tenant, I need to buy licenses preemptively. We do everything in arrears at the end of the month, so we make it real easy. You do everything you need, and we'll tell you at the end of the month exactly what your actual usage is. Now, from that, this is exactly the process in order to onboard a new client that you would need to go through in order to get them up and running. I love it in the aspect that if you're at that client and if you're setting them up, you can literally get them set up in about 10 minutes and have them getting phishing and security awareness training the next day. So this is that process. All you have to do is hit add a company. We'll just put in AAA as a fake company here. And when I go ahead and create that company, you'll see that that tenant gets spun up immediately. So now we have our 5 steps that we need to create or need to finish. And if I come back, you can see AAA pops up right here, and we'll be able to go through that process now. So first step, personalization. Although Harper is adorable, we probably want to co-brand it with any logo that we have there, maybe their logo. Maybe you do want to keep the logo of your MSP. Whatever you want to do, just change that out. It changes in top left, and it changes on the welcome email and any other things that we send out from there. Also on the personalization side, we have the admins. So this is where you can set up a co-managed admin. This would allow them access to this one specific tenant and this tenant only. A lot of times I talk to MSPs on a daily basis, obviously. And as I'm talking with them, they go, hey, I have a company that I just want to give them access to, and I want them to run the entire program themselves. No problem. Add them in here, let them run it. I have other companies where it's like, hey, we want to have all this really automated on the reporting side and much more extensive. We could do that as well. And then obviously you have vCIOToolbox to have all your QBRs run through also. So you have all of that balance depending on how you really want to work with your clients on that side. For email settings, we make it real easy. We just bring you into this allow listen guide. We basically walk you through any of the IPs, domains, URLs, scripts, anything that you need to make sure that everything that we're sending gets to where it's going is going to be listed right here for you. So we break that out. All you got to do is walk through it. And once you have that set up, we'll make sure that everything's going through the proper channels there as well.
So Shane, spend a little bit, maybe a moment or two more on that. Is this where you're going to have to bring your admin in potentially to do some whitelisting on your firewall? Is this you doing it at the Office 365 level? I want to make sure users understand exactly how they're setting up their whitelist to allow your traffic through.
Yeah, so most of this will be through Microsoft as far as either Microsoft or Google. We do have the Google Workspace piece here as well. So we do have either of those setups that would basically get you making sure that everything is going through the proper channels. As you guys know, there's plenty of different email filtering tools and plenty of different things along those lines. So we also work well with all of them. It's just a matter of making sure that we're kind of checking the boxes in terms of, hey, these are all the things that are allowed. Again, we line all of those up for you below here from what we are sending out. So you should have all the information that is necessary, whether it's email filtering systems, whether it is in Microsoft Defender, really anything that you have in here, we should have the details in it. If you don't, please let us know, because we actually just need to add that in. And as everybody knows, things change in Microsoft on a regular basis. So we're always updating these docs though. And anytime we see something different, we will make sure we make the change there too.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to skip that one since we're not actually going to configure it. Now, the next step are those welcome emails. Again, these welcome emails are great as a first step into the program to go, hey, we're making a change. If it is a change, or hey, welcome to the program. This is what we're doing, why we're doing it, what to expect next up, right? What we've seen a lot of is you send over something new. People go, what is this? What should I be interacting with? They reach out to you to go, what are all these things? And now you have to spend 15 minutes explaining it, right? Well, with this, we handle all that for you as a first step into Phin. Very easy to set up. Select if you want it to send, what time you want it to send, who you want it to send to. And if you sync your Azure or Microsoft tenant, this will also come through with groups here in a bit. And then you just can convert this to really whatever you want it to say. So this is that template that will pull through from that top level. Then on this level, we can edit it however we'd like to as well. And again, that will be what sends out as a first step in the process.
Awesome.
Great. Those first three pieces, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Now we really kind of get into a little bit more along the lines of kind of the meat and potatoes of the setup. When we're talking about the user management aspect, we do automated syncing with Azure or Microsoft. We also have the manual import option if you have somebody on Google or maybe something outside of those platforms. Very easy when you're talking about getting users for the CSV. It's just uploading them in that CSV of a first name, last name, email. We don't need anything more than that, just that list. And when you do upload them, the next time you upload them, it will look for duplicates to make sure it's not pulling in everything. So it's pretty simple when you are actually uploading those users in, just a matter of going through it a little bit more manually. But once it is in, everything is going to be automated from that perspective as well. And then on the user management side, for the Azure side, this is where we completely automate this for anybody in Microsoft. So either Azure AD or Azure AD for US Gov. If you're using a hybrid connector, that will also work. So just a matter of kind of configuring it, whatever terminology you kind of want to go through there. But we will connect into that tenant. What will happen now is that every 6 hours, based off the settings we're about to set up, we will pull those users in automatically, either add them, remove them, or update them based on the settings there. Once they're pulled in, that is when we handle everything else on our side. So really the ideal situation with Phin is that all you're doing is this onboarding process we're going through now. At the end of that onboarding process, you'll never actually have to come back into Phin because we'll automatically bring them in. We'll automatically send them a welcome email, automatically add them to the training and phishing campaigns, automatically add them to the reporting, and then everything flows just on our side, and you guys have everything you need both on vCIOToolbox's side and anything else on the Phin side of the house. So you can see now with that connection, we've now brought in 29 different groups. Probably don't need to bring in all 29 groups. If you want to, absolutely fine. However, what we can do is we can select a specific group that we want. So we'll just go with example group 1 here. And when we go ahead and continue, this will then bring us into saying we have one group and we have one user. What of those groups and users do you actually want to bring into the system? From there, we'll confirm that. And once we confirm that, everything will flow automatically every 6 hours from that point. So you can see here we have we have one user, one group. If we say, hey, maybe the EJ, let's say EJ is actually a shared mailbox and we don't want to bring them in, but there's plenty of other users that we do. We could just sleep this one user. And then once we commit this, you're going to see that we have the ability to basically keep them slept. So they're not an active user. They're not receiving training, phishing, and anything as far as the billing side of the house, but they are still in the system. And you can see here, they're slept on this side. They're slept here as well. And then to wake, it's very easy. Just come in and wake user. So great for shared mailboxes, maternity, paternity leave, whatever it may be. And it's really easy to change that setting permanently, or not permanently, but change that within the sync of coming in here. And you can see that now EJ is reawoken as far as the user on this side of the house. So this is now set up, and we'll automate based off of those settings.
So Shane, I'm watching how you're putting sleep here. Does it work the same way for terminations, right? Because one of the things that we don't want to have from a compliance perspective is showing that somebody's out of compliance on their training and they're no longer there. So does this recognize through AD when there's a inactivation on the account and auto sleep them or auto take them out?
So if it's on the Azure side of the house and it is removed, we will remove them on our side. So it is awesome. An add, remove, or update. Obviously, we ideally want to just keep adding users, but of course, people are not always going to stay consistent. So if you remove them on that side, we'll remove them on our side. If you update something on their side, we'll update it on our side as well.
And from a manual upload perspective, obviously, that would be something that the customer would have to maintain themselves. There's no auto rule like, hey, if I don't do training 10 times in a row, any signaling there?
Yep, that would be something they would have to just come in here and then select delete user.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Now, and the nice part of that is if you do remove those users, all of the historical records as far as the reporting stay consistent. So you don't have to worry about losing that information, which I know is obviously extremely important when it comes to auditing, cybersecurity, insurance, anything along those lines.
Oh, that's great. That's some of the biggest snafus that we've been seeing people with their security awareness training is losing history and not having a way to, turn off the terminated users. They've got this termination protocol. They run through it, but they've kind of left out these types of tools, right? And if this is your system doing it through AD is great.
Yeah, it typically ends up being just an oversight, right? It's not anybody's going, hey, we don't need that information. Nope. It goes, oh, we didn't calculate that into it, right? And funny enough that you say that, we do keep the historical records in terms of within the automated reporting and overall in the system. But the nice part is when we get to reporting as well, you'll also see that on the reporting history, all of the ones that you generate of the overall reports will also be listed here for reference to go back to. So just, I can go over to my demo data one, but I know I started the company in December of 2022. All my records from when I was reporting then are all still logged there. So it gives you a nice reservoir of previous reports there too.
That's awesome. Good stuff.
Great. Going into training and phishing campaigns. Now, what most people are used to is setting up a training campaign through what we call our training dashboard or phishing dashboard, right? Now, that's completely doable within Phin. You can come in here and create whatever you want, right? We have multiple different types of training campaigns. We have a fixed campaign, either certain content or certain length. Onboarding, as soon as somebody gets onboarded, we're going to send them that as the first step with the welcome email. So it's maybe like an intro of, hey, welcome to the training, or hey, welcome to our company as far as that's concerned, right? Whatever you want to do there. And then we have the continuous campaigns. Now, this is going to be more manual. We want to automate this completely, right? Here, you have to go in the information, add the audience, add the curriculum, add the schedule, and then finalize. That's absolutely fine. And 100%, if you want to do anything outside of what we're about to set up here in a second, you could do it with training and you could do it with phishing. No problems there whatsoever. But let's make this way more automated, and let's make this way easier when it comes to really what we know is going to be effective for these users. And through that, we have our continuous campaign creator. The continuous campaign creator is a 7-step questionnaire that answers questions about the business that you are supporting. And then from there, we know all the topics and all the templates that are going to be relevant to that business moving forward. So now, as we're bringing in new topics and new templates, we're always adding those to those topics and templates. So that way we know, hey, we're always going to be adding new stuff. We're always going to be getting fresh stuff to them. And you're never going to have to worry about specifics in between. So going from question 1 through question 7 here, do they require GDPR training? By the way, GDPR, PCI, and HIPAA all are included in our price point. There is no additional aspect of anything that you need to pay for anything else aside from our licensing structure. So it's real straightforward there. But we'll just go through these answers here. So do they require GDPR training? Let's say no. Do they have employees that work remote? We'll say yes. It seems like that's always a yes nowadays. 20 to 50 employees, we'll say. We'll say that they do accept credit cards. Do they have an internal IT team? Let's say no. What industry are they? Let's say healthcare, and then that way we can add in the HIPAA training as well. So with that 7-step questionnaire, what we have done is now we have basically curated all of the content that is going to be relevant when it comes to training and all of the templates that are going to be relevant when it comes to phishing. The next step is just scheduling this out. Once we schedule this out, everything will be set to run these two autonomously, simultaneously, and in perpetuity until you change anything in those settings. The way that the phishing campaign works is they're two individual campaigns. So the phishing campaign will work that it will send out different templates at different times, anywhere from a 3 to 7 day window that we can set up on the next step. The whole idea is that everybody gets a unique individual experience with the same overall testing experience. The purpose for that is I don't want to be able to go, hey, I've sent this email out. Me and Brian got the same email at the same time. I clicked on it. I was like, oh no, that's bad. Brian, don't click on that. It's just a test. And now Brian doesn't get the benefit of testing himself, right? And that completely ruins the entire aspect of phishing. And really, I know this for a fact because at my last company, I was that guy trying to be the good guy amongst friends. And ultimately, it was like, oh yeah, I'm really actually making a much more vulnerable team in that capacity. So now we completely solved that by doing different templates at different times. And that's how the phishing campaign will work. On the other side of that, for the training, we will basically start at the top. If we're doing monthly training, we'll just work our way down that list as far as month 1 phishing, month 2 device security, and so on. And again, because like we said earlier, the different vendors that we have or providers of that content that we bring that in from, we're able to always keep a fresh training every time the topic of phishing comes up. So the whole idea is that as you work your way through, you'll come back to the topic of phishing, a brand new training on phishing, brand new training on device security, and so forth. So that way it's a different learning style, something fresh, something a little bit different every single time. It's always something that they can really digest as well. They all follow the same format, about 5-minute long, few quiz questions at the end, a little bit of a summary before that, and it makes sure that they're understanding everything in a quick, digestible fashion. So that is how those two things work as far as the frequency or the frequency is what we'll set up next, but that's how both of those campaigns will function.
That's awesome. And I think it's important to note, you talked a little bit about you being the nice guy that was trying to help other people out. I think for those that are managers on this call too, keep in mind here, this is not, I love the punitive part that you had in your earlier slides as well. We're trying to educate people. They're going to make mistakes. You don't eat their lunch, because one of the things that we need in order to be, really secure out there is people feeling enabled to come in and say they've made an error, people coming in and saying they've made a goof, because that's going to let us get in front of problems a lot quicker. So, a little soapbox here on my side, but, let's make sure that when people are making mistakes, we're educating them and we're not beating them for making that mistake.
Exactly right. So going into the next step is just a matter of scheduling it out. So we have once or twice, month, week, quarter, 1st through 4th, Monday through Sunday. And then this is that window, anywhere from 3 to 7 days. So that way you can basically vary it up depending on who you're supporting and how you want to go about it. And then the same thing for training, once or twice, month, week, quarter, 1st through 4th, Monday through Sunday. At this point, we have submitted this. The last step of onboarding is to add an email for reporting. You can add as many emails as you want to here. So this is going to be the extensive reporting. Obviously, you're going to have all the real key information inside vCIOToolbox, but anything additional that you would either want to send out automatically, or if there was stuff that you just wanted to generate. I've had people send it to stakeholders of the business, send it to their ticketing system just for record purposes. However you want to go about it, add that email in here. Very easy as far as setting it up. Select weekly or monthly, and then select what you wanted to include. And I'll show you what this looks like here in just a minute. But that is the reporting. And at the end of that email address or addition, now everything is set up to run completely autonomously without anything happening within Phin for what you guys need. All you're doing is adding a user. If it is within Phin, add them manually. But ultimately, most people are going to be using Microsoft. Add them on that side. We'll pull them in, send them a welcome email as step 1, add them to the training and phishing campaigns as step 2, add them to the reporting as step 3. And everything is handled on our side for you.
That's awesome. So, I mean, that's about as easy a setup as I've ever seen in a software. I wish ours could be that easy.
I'm sure you guys are close, but yeah, it's again, it's something that we know. Security awareness training is extremely important. It does not need to be overly complicated. It should be simple and effective, and that's exactly kind of what we do in that onboarding process.
Awesome. So anything else you'd like to share here, Shane, before we transition into how this flows in the vCIOToolbox?
Yeah, absolutely. So just three more things that I want to show you real
Awesome.
quick. As far as the reports, I just want to show you kind of what that looks like a little bit when it comes to the CSV side of it, or the PDF side of it. Sorry. So reporting will give you a nice executive summary on the front page here, just kind of what's been sent, what's been interacted with, and how that's overall gone. Very similar to the information that is going to be pulled over to vCIOToolbox. What we also have in here is going to be phishing test trends, users up to date, top click fish, percentage of users who completed training, and then a users to watch area. So this has been really useful to send to whoever the stakeholder is of the business to go, hey, on a weekly basis, you know exactly the people that you guys are needing to be more aware of, right? QBRs are fantastic, but they're every quarter, right? So ultimately, if you need to have a little bit of tap on the shoulder of, hey, this is exactly what you need between the dashboards that you guys have and what we have on our side, you'll be able to address that in real time. And then the same thing for if you need to send something out for historical user data overall, we have that listed here also. The CSVs is the other aspect of that setup. All of those just dive into much more specifics on everything that's happening in here, and you can include those. That's just a matter of, again, selecting basically what the pieces are that you want to include there.
Beautiful. Those are really cool reports, because that's, one of the biggest things, right? In our QBRs, we do not want to share and single out the individual right there. In those meetings, it's more about, hey, top down, what's campaign performance? How are you doing? And are there gaps? Your reporting is giving them that detail. And that's because, from our perspective, we're getting all comers. We don't know who's going to be in that room. And we certainly don't want to single people out or have people walking out talking badly of their coworkers that, with what could be confidential information, right? Depending on where you sit within the organization. So, certainly it's great that you can come back into Phin, and then those that do need to be in the know can find out that information and address it accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the other thing, right? MSPs take on a lot of responsibility when it comes a lot of the time to trying to follow up with those people. It's really not your responsibility to make sure that they're doing all the things that they need to be doing. It's your responsibility to provide those. Then you can send this report, so that way anybody at that business knows exactly what the state of their people are, right? So it's super, super important on that front. Going into the last two pieces. So this is kind of how we send out our training on our training side of the house. What we do for, we send out a training assignment, then we send out a training reminder every 7 days automatically if they do not complete that training. So we handle that for you completely to make sure that you don't have to worry about constantly keeping up with them. So between the users to watch and that portion, we do a pretty good job of making sure everybody knows if they have something that they have left. Great part about the actual training itself, very easy, no sign in, no login, no multi-factor for this because it's just an email association. So all you need to do is click to view. It brings them directly into their portal. They have everything listed right here for exactly what they need. Real simple.
So that's great too. So if I'm 27 trainings behind, like you showed there,
I'm a bad employee, Brent.
No, it's all getting, well, you'll see some bad stats on my side too, but really all that training then is accessible then. So if somebody is, let's say they were on paternity leave and they were forgot to be put to sleep, they can come back now, jump in here and catch up.
Exactly. And it's real easy. Again, they all follow about the same format. So it's pretty much you come in, hit take, about 5 minutes long. You'll see that we have a little of an intro, then the video. Sometimes there's a summary. If not, it'll hop right into the assessment. And overall, you're going to get all of those pieces lined up for you. And once they complete it, it'll move over to completed. They'll get a little certificate and we'll be on their way. So it's not going to eat up their whole day. Give me five minutes of your time and we'll make sure you leave more cyber secure.
That's awesome. Okay, good stuff.
And the last piece, my personal favorite. So we do what we call learning moments. Now, these are some of the templates that we have. So you can see LinkedIn, Geek Squad, Google, Netflix. There's plenty of them that you're going to be interacting with on a daily basis, right? And that's really where we pull our templates from, is just what we see on a regular basis. I probably get this one probably on a daily basis overall. But what we do is much different when it comes to this. And what we do is what we call learning moments. What we've seen is somebody clicks on a fish, slap on the wrist, 20 more trainings or whatever it may be, right? Like an hour-long training that you need to go back to. You go do the training. It doesn't actually address what you just did wrong. Now you get the next fish. You click on it anyway because you didn't learn anything. And now you're in that cycle of, hey, I hate this because I don't know what I'm doing and I'm constantly getting more trainings, right? It goes back to that punishment side of the house. Yep. We don't want to do that. We want to foster that great sense of learning and accomplishment moving forward. So going from that, this is that review document, or if I hit that review document button, we pop up what we call a learning moment. That learning moment walks you through exactly what just happened in that template to go, hey, if DocuSign doesn't bring you to a DocuSign, you should be aware of that. If somebody sent you a DocuSign that it's not coming from the person that you know, probably should be aware of that. all of those pieces of this template that would potentially get you phished, we educate them on in about a 30 to 60-second span. They need to click through it to actually complete that learning moment. And when they complete that learning moment, it comes back into the reporting as well. So just going back to that reporting really quick, you can see that if we go back to the top, you're going to have learning moments completed. Also, we do have a report a phish button. So you do have that aspect in here as well. If they click on a phish, it will go into phishes clicked. If they report that phish through the button, it'll actually go, hey, congratulations, great job on identifying it. If it's not something we sent, it'll just get forwarded to up to 5 email addresses and removed. But you do have that flexibility in there. And again, it's trying to train these people to go, hey, this is or isn't a phish. This is exactly what you need to be aware of, and this is how to look out for it in the future. The great part is every single one's different. So depending on what you're interacting with and what you see on a regular basis will depend on what you're probably going to click on. And once you do, we're going to address exactly what that would be. So that is the learning moment. My favorite part of what's inside the platform, and always like to finish off on that side.
That's very cool. And I think that comment about being able to report in, once you start enabling your team to kind of be involved in the security components of things, and we've definitely seen this in other areas of where our customers are starting to coach their customers around cyber insurability and other things. When you start empowering people to speak, they will. And, you know, most people don't want to make the mistake, but by allowing them that latitude, then they come in there and actually try to help you solve the problem. And that's really cool that you guys have that built in.
Appreciate that.
All right, so now we'll kind of transition over to vCIOToolbox, and I'll bring over the screen now. And the majority of the Phin integration is happening here within the dashboard. So I'll show you the dashboards, and then we'll go back around to where you can set up your integration. It's a very straightforward process. But you'll see here coming into our dashboards, everything's highly customizable. As those that are vCIOToolbox customers know, you can take data in and out of here. And we've added 2 new tiles to the main customer KPI dashboard, where you can see the phishing activity, how many were sent and how many were clicked over the last 30 days. And then the training campaigns and the average percentage of completion that we're seeing across those aspects as well. So really easy to share at a very high level as part of the main KPI discussion. But then we've also created a security and awareness dashboard. So now this is very specific to the data coming in from Phin. You'll see here, we can see the last 30 days training score, how many were assigned, how many were completed. We get the last 30 days phishing score and the same kind of thing. How many were assigned and are sent, and how many were clicked upon. And unfortunately, because the integration is so new, I don't have trend data really working yet, but you'll start seeing trend data for this customer as the, 30 days from now, as I just set up this integration, you'll see the August, or excuse me, yes, we're in August, the August data populate and show exactly what was clicked on in the last month. So we really want to build that trend data, because one of the things that you need to do from a compliance standpoint is show this training wasn't a one and done type exercise, that it's continuously going on, that process is going on there, and that you're showing pretty good numbers in terms of compliance overall. Then when you want to dig into the individual, like I said earlier, we don't want to call people out in a QBR or a GRC setting. Sometimes there's mixed company in that room, and certainly if the CEO is the one that's clicking 10 times over, we might not want to share that downstream with everybody. So that's when you would go back over to Phin and get those advanced reports Shane shared with you to, get into those deeper discussions. In terms of setting up the integration, couldn't be easier. You come right into the integration setting here. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong module. We come into the integration setting. Phin's got its own little tile set up within our environment. Once I click on it, and then you'll basically put in your partner ID, your client, your Phin client ID, and then you'll put in your client secret. All that multi-tenancy, all that other information that that is passed through happens behind the scenes. We do all that matching for you as the customer. And then when we go down into the Phin sync area, as we have the ability to manually sync, and then of course we have regular syncs that happen for this data as well. All you have to do is import the phishing and training data. It will automatically align to the company's names that come through. We do name matching behind the scenes, and then we'll update those companies here. And we keep this information pretty confidential here. We just let you see in the logs exactly what's been completed. So super simple to set up the integration. Boom, put in your data, press sync, and you should have all the information you need within your customer. When you go into your customer environment itself, if you're going to work with your customer in a prep sense of things, and I want to use my test demo customer where I know there's data again. I'll pop into my IT review area and I'll do the regular work that I need to do for my assessment. But if I want to inspect that, I can get to my dashboarding right here within the customer view under the More button as well. And I can see those trainings and I can see that training dashboard here as well. So now that information is available to me if I want to inspect it before I conduct my IT review and answer my assessment. So I can answer any questions there very easily. All this information is very quick, very easy to get to. So, certainly if you have any questions, we've got Q&A opened up here's, for you as well. Love to answer any questions that you have, whether they're regarding the Phin integration, whether they're regarding Phin services. We've got Shane here for a few minutes, so love to engage him as you see fit.
Yeah, feel free to fire away, anybody.
Yep, and I'm bringing up that Q&A now. While we're waiting for Q&A, Shane, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you? And I can probably bring up that deck again with your contact information.
Yeah, absolutely. So my email is real simple, shane@phinsecurity.com. So feel free to reach out to me directly there. We do have some great tools on the website as far as some resources and things along those lines. We do have a free trial that will give you 30 days to kind of test out the platform. We'll reach out and help out with anything that you need there as well. So feel free to get phinsec.io is the website. So feel free to hop on there if you wanted to check out anything we're doing on that front. But really the most probably the best place to start would just be reaching out to me. Again, Shane at Phin Security, and I can kind of guide you in and answer any questions that you have, or really see where you're at and where you might want to be going. Happy to help wherever it is, whether it is, hey, we want to look at Phin, or even just talking about industry, talking about the integration with vCIOToolbox, or really anything along those lines. I'm an open book to have a chat with. So feel free to utilize me however I can help.
Yeah, and certainly if you forget, how to get in touch with Shane, that's what we're here for too. We'll be happy to get you in touch with the folks over at Phin. We can't say enough about their partnership. They've been a phenomenal group for us to work with. Great in helping us set up the integration, and we definitely got this done very quickly thanks to the efforts of the Phin team, and I think that'll reflect very, very similarly in any support you need as you're working with their product. So Shane, I'm not seeing any heavy questions coming in. It seems like you did a great job of sharing with the team exactly how to set things up. There will be replays of this video sent out for those that want to watch it again. So keep an eye in your mailbox for those. Shane, any closing thoughts from your side?
It was great chatting with you. Obviously, always great to see you. I'm glad it's been a crazy year that we've gotten all this spun up, but it's been awesome working with you guys. Thank you guys for having me over here. Looking forward to just kind of continuing that, and it was great getting to chat with everybody in the meeting. Hopefully get to talk or see some of you guys folks soon. But
if you're having shows, look for Shane and his group. They'll be the ones with a ton of people already in front of that booth.
Yeah, either a ton of people. You could probably hear me before you see me, and we may be wearing Manta Ray onesies. So if any of those things kind of line up, you know it's us.
All right, Shane. Well, we'll give everybody back a few minutes of their day, and I want to thank you again for joining me today. Really appreciate that. We appreciate everything you guys are doing over there at Phin, and look forward to talking to you again soon.
You as well. Have a great day.
You too. Take care.
Bye, everyone.